I'm going to cook with you. I'm Elysabeth Alfano. Sometimes I call myself the Silver Chic Chef, but usually I'm just hosting a radio show or my Awesome Vegans podcast and my Plant-Based Business Hour. Okay, my hometown is Chicago. Oh yeah, and we do food right. So kind of like you have Philadelphia cheesesteak, but everybody eats it, we have Chicago-style Italian beef. And everybody eats it because it's so super good, except it's not because it has beef. So let's switch that up and let's make it the best it can be, which is Chicago-style Italian beef with no beef. I have 2 cups of vital wheat gluten in here. For every quarter cup, it's 21 grams of protein. So that's 8 quarter cups. Everybody do the math. So that is 168 grams of protein right here. And I've been talking so much, I got ahead of myself. I'm mixing all these ingredients so I can make this. This is the Italian beef, Chicago-style Italian beef. Of course, it's gonna get juicy and drippy, and I've got a homemade roll that my boyfriend made. So you can even see the garlic in there. It's so good and spicy. So this is what we're going for. And it starts with what I said. So wheat gluten and nutritional yeast, which I love. It's so good for you. And if you want to know exactly how good for you nutritional yeast is, you gotta catch my radio show this Sunday, 3 p.m. Chicago time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Just say, hey Alexa, play me WCGO. It's 1 p.m. Pacific time. And I always say the same thing. Meat tastes great because of the spices. And it's usually the same spices. Paprika, cumin, I'm adding a teaspoon of both. Salt, pepper, of course, and soy sauce. Now we're gonna get to the soy sauce just a little bit later. Right now I'm doing all the dry ingredients, but you know, the reason meat tastes the way it does is because of the spices. So let's not kid ourselves, the meat itself is gross. In this particular recipe, I'm gonna do onion powder. Everything is still, give or take, a teaspoon. Now I like things spicy. I did say it's Chicago style, so you know, get with the program, people. This is gonna be just a teeny pinch. Okay, about a teaspoon of oregano. Of course, we're gonna do salt and pepper because that just makes sense. And you know, if you have salt intolerance or you know, you have high blood pressure or something like that, then of course, don't, you know, keep it low on the salt. But for here, I'm gonna go big and hard. Okay, so we basically have all of our dry ingredients. So right here, what I have is vegetable stock, about 1.5 cups. If I had mushroom broth, if I was going to the store daily like I usually do in non-COVID times, I would use mushroom broth. But I don't have it, so I'm doing vegetable broth. It does work, of course. Put that right in. And then I told you soy sauce was coming later. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Woo! I hope everybody's doing great and surviving and staying at home and finding a way to cook, because that's so fun. Now we're gonna do some tomato paste. This seems like it's a recipe with lots of ingredients, but none of this is like super hard or fancy, you know? I like to keep fresh garlic in my recipe, and I, again, like it kind of spicy, so I go heavy on the garlic. Right here I have about 3 or 4 cloves, but I'm gonna work that into my bread loaf. Remember, you saw this. That's my garlic right there in my Italian beef, Chicago style Italian beef. Okay, I gotta mix this because, yeah, I don't want it to get hard on me, so I gotta stop chatting. I really want to knead this. This is why I like cooking, because if you watch the show, you probably think that I'm very neat. I am not. This is because of my boyfriend. My boyfriend's very neat. I'm very messy. I like to get, you know, my fingers into the food. This is why I love to make vegan meatballs. You get to do the same thing. Now I'm just kneading it so that all of my dry ingredients are really thoroughly mixed, and I can feel my little slivers of garlic in here. I know that this is gonna be super tasty. Okay, I'm going to let this rest. So of course I've got my onions. I've already done a little chopping. I've got my celery, put this over here. I've got celery, I've got carrots, and I'm gonna pickle them. And you think like, oh gosh, you have to buy pickles or something, like it's something super special. But no, indeed it is not. I'm gonna leave my carrots long. Sometimes I chop them into rounds, but I'm gonna leave these long. I'm out of jalapeno peppers. Again, haven't been to the store, thanks COVID-19 and eating meat, which is basically locked me in my own house. Great, thanks so much for that. So I'm out of jalapeno peppers because I made so many pickled ones already. So I'm out of that, but that's okay. I am gonna make some pickled celery and carrots. Super easy. White vinegar, celery, carrots, or jalapeno peppers, or mushrooms, or whatever you wanna do. And I'm gonna fill this, and I'm gonna forget it for like 2 days. By the time I come back, they will be pickled. So now I'm going to chop my onions. I could pickle my onions, but I kind of want a little bit of like fatty juice in there. So I'm going to saute my onions. You could do this in mushroom broth. Again, I'm out of mushroom broth, so I'm going to do it in extra virgin olive oil. But if you wanted to keep the oil low, as you've noticed so far, no oil. So this is actually a high protein, low fat meal. Now, I let that, ooh, got a little fatty. He expanded. Okay, can you see? Okay, I let our loaf sit there. I let our Chicago style Italian beef sit there. It kind of mellowed out after the kneading. Now I'm just pushing it down. That's it. I mean, it's easier than baking cookies and throwing everything in a bowl and stirring it. It's just couldn't be any easier. The key to this one, you guys, I'm gonna say is fresh garlic. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the oven, 325. When that hits 325, I will go ahead and pop that in. We have to prepare our juice, which means I've got this already started. Onions, garlic, spices, and vegetable broth. So pour in a little vegetable broth. I kept some from last time. We're back to spices. Again, I've already made this, but just to show you, vegetable broth, some soy sauce, pepper, of course, salt, if you can find it, and I can. Okay. I'm just replicating the spices that are in the beef itself. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to make myself meat slices. It's Italian beef, coming at ya, Chicago style. Nice and spicy, nice and lean, filled with protein. How thin that is. All right, I like to eat as I go. But look how thin that is and porous. I'll tell you why this is important. Because for it to be a juicy, dripping, Italian style Italian beef, Chicago style Italian beef, I really want it to simmer in the juices. So I'm gonna put all my Italian beef into my juice, which has all the same spices that the Italian beef does. And I'm gonna heat it up. Okay, my onions are ready. So now I'm gonna bring my onions into this is delicious. Can you see that? That is juicy, dripping, Chicago style Italian beef. With onions and garlics already in here, all my spices. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm heating that up, but basically, I'm about to plate.
Starting now.
So this is also how I listen to radio. So if you ever want to listen to my radio show, Sundays, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, just say, hey, Alexa, play me WCGO, and she'll do that. Okay, and then you can always listen to my radio show, the only plant-based radio show in the nation. I told you, dough, it's hot. You see the steam coming out? Ooh, gotta put this, oh, hold on, I'll put it over here. Oh, and I like to pile mine high. Oh dear. Oh, yeah. Please. And I warm up the bun as well. I told you it's kind of a decadent meal, right? Make this at home. Oh my gosh, so good. Make this at home. Super easy. Thanks for all you do. I'm like saying goodbye, but I'm also licking my fingers. It's so good. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for being vegan. Please spread the word that we're in this situation because of eating meat. Please let your neighbors know. And then go ahead and make them something like Chicago style, spicy, juicy, dripping Italian beef to let them know that there are a gazillion options that you can make and feel good about, not just for your health, but also for the health of the planet and of course for animals. Bye everybody.